Okay, so you familiar with simplified acquisitions and set-asides? I talk about them a lot in the videos. Simplified acquisitions, no bid contracts, a lot of people call them. They're not put out for bid. They don't have to collect the second quote. The rule of two is no longer mandatory. And sometimes they prepay. Sometimes they'll pay you a deposit or half or even the entire amount up front, giving you the working capital to do the job.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those contracts are done as set-asides. Sometimes they'll set them aside for a small business or minority woman veteran, service-disabled veteran, 8A or HubZone. Have you checked to see if you're in a HubZone?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Is this a startup business?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a veteran?
No.
Are you a minority?
Yes.
What type?
Black.
Awesome. I'm actually on the board of the National Black Chamber of Commerce, so we'll work on that as well.
Okay.
Are you a member or no?
No, I'm not.
Okay. And you're not a veteran.
Nope.
And you're obviously not a woman-owned unless you have a partner.
You have a partner.
Is it a female?
Yes.
Is she a veteran?
No, she's not.
Is she a minority?
Yes.
Okay. The woman-owned small business set-aside, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It is still a good thing, but there's more competition in that arena than the other set-asides just because of the sheer number of people registered. There's almost 70,000 women-owned small businesses in the system versus veterans is only 40,000. So veterans get the same 5%, but they have almost half the competition. Your HubZone, if you're in one, is huge because it's only 3%, but we're talking 3% of the entire federal budget.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only 4,100 HubZone vendors worldwide sharing that. Okay, 8A is good, but you can't do an 8A as a startup company.
Okay.
In order to do the 8A, you and I are going to have to focus on winning as many contracts as possible over the next year to qualify in a year.
Okay.
All right, so the goal this year, win as many contracts as possible from different clients, not just from one client. So if you get a big fat contract at the Navy, you also need to win some with the Army and the Marines and the DOT and some other government agencies so you're diversified, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Your social disadvantage is being a minority. Your personal net worth, is your personal net worth over $250,000?
No.
Okay, keep it that way. When you win a big fat contract this year, don't go out and buy motorcycles and RVs and a bunch of toys because that brings your personal net worth up, and you have to keep your personal net worth under $250,000. Okay? Did you ever see any of my videos where I talk about TV Guy?
Yeah, I have. Yes.
Okay, that was TV Guy's problem. He won some fat contracts in the beginning, and didn't qualify for the 8A anymore.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So over 250K, you won't qualify for these. Okay, I understand.
Exactly. Now, if when you land a fat contract and you make a lot of money, put it back in the business. Okay.
Okay.
And that we can come back to that, and you have to be in business at least 1 year for this to work. So we can't do anything with this right now. It's the long term. You don't have any felonies or anything on your record?
No.
Okay, keep it that way. Don't get in trouble because a felony can get you kicked out or prevented from getting in the 8A program to begin with.
Okay.
If you have any unpaid federal obligations, bank notes, student loans, stuff like that, get into an agreement and start paying them back. None? Okay.
Okay.
All right. HubZone. All you have to be a HubZone vendor is 51% owner and controlled by U.S. citizen. That's fine. Got to be a small business. Your office has to be located in a HubZone, and 35% of your employees have to live in a HubZone. Right now, if you have no employees, then that means you and your wife have to live in the HubZone, or at least one of you does. Or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say wife, your partner. I didn't. Let's just assume that's your wife. Yeah, that's what TV Guy did. Is he started winning contracts as a broker, and made a lot of money. And he didn't want to do his 8A because he was busy. He said, I don't need an 8A. I'm doing great. Problem is, as he grew, he didn't expand. He didn't hire employees. Okay, he tried to do it all on his own. Whether it be greed or whether it be, you're scared of hiring somebody and teaching them the ropes because then they'll just quit and start their own thing. I don't know. But by doing that, by staying a one-man show and taking on too many contracts or too large contracts and not doing a good job, he started getting bad scores, and the size of the contracts started getting smaller, and the number of contracts he was winning started getting smaller. So eventually, he went from making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $800,000 a year. He went backwards and started making less and less money until he got in that position where he was making under $250,000 and was able to qualify for the 8A again.
Okay.
So he has it now, but if he would have done it back in 2012 when I told him, he'd be doing millions of dollars in contracts, not hundreds of thousands. All right?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he's not doing bad. His largest contract's $1.8 million for natural gas, and he's got that through 2022. But like I said, if you do it right, you'll be more successful quicker. All right? Like the old saying, even a blind squirrel finds a nut. This system's really slow. If you're going to do the woman-owned small business, you're going to have to make her majority owner.
Okay.
And then you would be able to, she could do the 8A. It'd be easier for her to get the 8A because she's woman and a minority versus you trying to get it as a minority. Seems really slow today. Come on now. Nobody got time for that. Come on.
Now, John, how do you get into this type of work? I really appreciate what you're doing. I mean, this is a great thing you're doing for people out there.
I've been here since 2009. Let me give you our story real quick. I started here in 2009. I was literally the first employee hired. We got over 60 employees now. And all we did back then basically was the SAM registration. After doing that for a couple of years and realizing, there's other registrations that are beneficial, and we started adding all those other registrations. And then we got to a point where I got to a point where I said, I'm learning from my clients. I've owned a business myself, so I've been a business owner. I learned from that. I learned from what was working for my clients and what wasn't working for my clients. And then I got into doing bids, doing proposal writing services. And I realized that people need more than just to be registered and to be registered and compliant. They need to be taught. They need help. So I started training my clients, and it was kind of taking up a lot of my time. So then I said, well, you know what? I'm just going to schedule a training every day from 4 to 5, and give people that extra help, that extra training, that extra help on bids and proposals in the system.
Mm-hmm.
And my client success ratio went from about 50-50 to 80-20.
Wow.
So 80% of my clients are successful in the federal system. The 20% that are not, it's really their fault. They don't apply themselves. They'll bid on one contract and not win it and get frustrated and give up, you know, that kind of thing. If you're dedicated, you're willing to submit the bids and you're willing to pick up the phone and make some calls. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You will be successful. It's just a matter of timing.
Okay. Wow, 80%. Wow.
80%. And if you look at the grand scheme of things, the federal system's changed a lot in the last 5 years. So if you ever talk to somebody that tried to sell the federal government 10 years ago, and they say, man, it was difficult and it was expensive and we never won one, they're not lying. It was difficult 10 years ago and it was expensive, and most people weren't winning them. You know, the big boys, the Fortune 500 companies dominated the market. Now, in the new system, the new SAM system, there's 1.2 million for-profit vendors in SAM right now. But out of those, over 900,000 of them are inactive. That means there's only 340,000 active for-profit vendors in the system right now.
Wow.
More than half of those are big business. But let's just say, for argument's sake, half are big, half are small. That leaves about 160,000 small businesses that are active in the federal system. 160,000 sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, considering there's almost 30 million small businesses in the U.S., 160,000 small businesses, it's really not a lot. So there's not a lot of competition in the federal system. And because of that, I'm going to show you here in a minute, you're going to see a lot of these small business set-asides and minority woman veteran 8A HubZone set-asides where there was very few bidders. There was only 1 or 2 offers received, sometimes only 1. Sometimes there was no competition. All right?
So,
now, out of that 160,000 small businesses that are active, our organization, U.S. Federal Contractor Registration, has processed 80,000 SAM registrations. So we're technically responsible for half the small businesses that are active in the system right now.
Wow.
Just to give you an idea of, you know, who we are and where we're at. We have no competition. Nobody does what we do. There's a few companies that have popped up that are trying to do what, they're like copycats. They're trying to do what we do, but they only do like SAM or they only do G.S.A. They don't do everything. They don't provide training or assistance, none of that stuff. And all those companies combined, we've got half the small businesses are our clients that are in the system. All those guys combined maybe have about 5%. We got 50.
Wow.
All right. So just so you know who we are. Now we're going to look at the federal procurement data system. Oh, HubZone maps up. What's your address?
My address is 1380 Bank Street.
Dank, D-A-N-K?
No, bank, as in bank, B-A-N-K, yeah.
Yeah.
Waterbury, Connecticut. 06708.
06708? Nah, it's not in the HubZone.
What about Danbury? What about Danbury, Connecticut? 33 School Ridge Road.
Look, you're a block from a HubZone. See that? There's a HubZone across the street from you.
Wow.
Is that your home address?
What, the Waterbury address?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Let's try the other address. What was it again?
33 School Ridge Road.
Zip code?
06810.
Yeah, you're literally a block.
Oh,
06811?
Yes, 11, yep.
Okay, cross your fingers. Nope.
Wow. Mm.
Will it benefit you to get in a HubZone? Yes, eventually. That one's a block too. Look. It never fails. People
Wow.
are always right on the edge of a HubZone.
Wow.
Yeah,
Now, as
it'll.
far as the hub, I can't see what you're seeing. As far as the map, how does that work?
You can't see the map right now?
No, I see the you have the NBCC up here.
Oh, okay. It's slow. Hit your refresh button on your screen.
Oh, now I see it. Yep, now I can see it.
Literally, that purple dot right there. You're one block from a HubZone.
Wow.
Now, they have. You know what an incubator is?
No.
An incubator is a. They're popping up all over the country, and a lot of times they're in HubZones because of that. For that reason, it's shared office space. You can rent an incubator space for really cheap. Some of them are less than $100 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And you share office space with other business owners, but it's a physical address, and you can use that as your primary office. You can get an incubator space in a HubZone. So that's one solution. Another solution is to just open a real office in a HubZone. The problem is that I'm assuming that that's your residence and her residence.
Yes.
Okay. The problem is not only does your office have to be in a HubZone, but 35% of your employees have to live in a HubZone. Right now, you're 100% out. So either one of you move, or when you hire your first 2 employees, make sure you hire them in a hub, that they live in a HubZone, and then you would qualify.
Okay.
All right. So let's not worry about the HubZone for now. It's not going to benefit us today. Let's focus on the simplified acquisitions. Now, this is a startup company, so you can't show revenues from last year, but the government will look at your personal revenues in the last 3 years to determine, you know, one of the things they look at is that you haven't been on unemployment for the last 5 years, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What was your income last year, roughly?
Roughly 40,000.
3,000?
No, 40,000.
40,000. Okay. That's good. That's good. It's, you know, obviously you want to make more, but at least that shows that, you know, you did something. Is there something specific that you want to sell to the government, or you just want to broker anything you can get your hands on?
I just, you know, I lost my job probably like 5 months ago, and then I came across your, you know, your website and things like that. So I'm just, anything I really can, you know, whatever I can do right now. I'm not trying to go back to the rat race of working. I'm trying to, you know, be an entrepreneur and start my own business. So basically, you know, this is all new to me. So anything I really can get my hands on.
Okay. Well, if you want to broker anything, Simplified Acquisitions is definitely the way to go. Currently, there is 13,581,925 federal contracts in the system that were done as Simplified Acquisitions. This system tracks less than 10% of the spending. So that means if there's 13 million in here, there's close to 130 million that have actually been awarded. We're only seeing a small percentage of them. Wow. All right. Wow. These were awarded yesterday. I'm looking for one over 25,000 because there's a threshold of 25,000 and under where they can purchase in a different way. All right, here's one right here for 264,000, was awarded yesterday. Click the view link. You're going to actually see this contract. 11/16 to 3/31, so it's a 4-month contract. This is a small business, and this was awarded as a simplified acquisition, and look at how many offers received.
Offers received 3. Wow.
So there was three offers total on this. They contacted 2 other businesses, got a quote, didn't like it, contacted this business, got this quote, liked it, they hired them. Wow. Wow. There's another one, 11/16 to 3, another 4-month contract. Was also a simplified acquisition, 3 offers received. Wow. And this is actually the same contract. They bought this from 2 different people on the same day. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this simplified acquisition, they actually paid them money up front. See where it says $29,208?
Yes.
But here it says $87,624.
Mm-hmm.
They gave them $30,000 to start, and they'll collect a total of $87,000 upon completion. Wow. And this is a small business, and it was done as a simplified acquisition, and look at how many offers received.
1.
That's it. Wow. Wow. So, the grand scheme of things, you're definitely going to need to get set up for simplified acquisitions. It really is going to boil down right now to how serious are you about this, and what can you afford to pursue. Bid contracts, they're not going to pay you up front on bid contracts. You're going to have to supply them with the materials or the product or the service, and then you're paid within 15 to 30 days. So that you're going to have invest some money in doing the contract and then wait to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Most simplified acquisitions, they're going to pay up front, either a deposit or half or the entire amount. So those we don't have to worry about. The bid contracts, there are companies that will finance them. So if you're in a position where you can do a contract but you don't have the money to support it, you can get a company to finance it. They charge 5 to 7% interest, and you just tack that interest on to the actual cost, so you're not losing anything to have it financed.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and send you this video, and then let me